So this very, very strong appreciation that President Museveni shared about the community, I will certainly convey to Prime Minister, and I can tell you he will feel as proud as I do today listening to him. But राष्ट्रपति मुसेवेनी के साइड इसके अलावा एक मैसेज भी था, और मैसेज ये था कि युगांडा एक किस्म से रिसोर्स रिच कंट्री है। आज यहाँ डेमोग्राफी भी बहुत माने यंग डेमोग्राफी है, रिसोर्सेस है, ठीक लीडरशिप है, विजन है। तो वो चाहते थे कि खासकर उनकी अपेक्षा थी कि बिजनेस रिलेशनशिप्स बिटवीन इंडिया एंड युगांडा, this should focus on what he called creating value addition. So when I met the trade minister, when I yesterday met the businesses who are here, this is something which I shared with them, and when I go back to India, this will be my message to Indian businesses also. That today, the time when countries in developing countries imported things from Europe or from developed countries, or even I would say in some respects from China, that era should be replaced by making more in our own country. In the case of India, you are all familiar, आप जानते हैं, make in India से तो परिचय है. But similarly, it is a natural desire in Uganda to make in Uganda. And if India is a partner of making in Uganda, this is something which will certainly, I think, solidify our relationship. Now, from all my discussions, because I have finished my meetings, this is my last engagement, but आप जानते हैं कि बिना community से मिले, no foreign minister can go back. You will not get re-entry back in India. So, as I finish my discussions, I ask myself, what are the big takeaways from this visit? I would say there are for me 3 big takeaways. The first takeaway is that the Modi Sarkar always keeps its commitments. Prime Minister came here in 2018, whatever commitments he has given, those have been fulfilled. When President Museveni went to India in 2015, the commitments which were made to Africa as a whole, but of which Uganda is such an important part, those too have been largely fulfilled. And they have been fulfilled despite the fact that for 2.5 years there was COVID, despite the challenges of the COVID. जो भी हमने वायदा किया था, whatever आश्वासन दिया था, today those are on the ground. And in fact, the project which brought me here, this university, I must tell you, there was discussion going on for some time. But last year, once President Museveni wrote to Prime Minister Modi saying, this is something which is important for me, immediately you can see in a matter of months, this is the India today which is different. In a matter of months, we can actually establish an investment. The second takeaway for me was, how do the Ugandan leadership, the Ugandan government, the Ugandan people, how do they see India? And I must tell you, and I say this as someone, जैसे कि हमारे हाई कमिश्नर साहब ने आपको बताया, I have done more than 40 years in diplomacy. Today, we get a respect in the world. Not only a respect in the world. Many countries feel today that India is there for them, that their concerns, their worries, their interests, India will take up on their behalf. And that is something I felt very strongly during this visit. And there is very good reason for it. During pandemic, you all know, दुनिया में ढेर सारे वैक्सीन पड़े थे, बहुत सारे देश थे जहां आबादी से 4 गुना ज्यादा, 6 गुना ज्यादा, 8 गुना ज्यादा वैक्सीन उनके पास थे, and they did not share it. Today, 100 countries recognize that many of them, that the first vaccines they got, they came from India. And even in the case of Uganda, there were vaccines that we sent, and before vaccines we sent medicines as well. And there was also vaccines which they got through the COVAX initiative. So the vaccine Maitri has changed India's image in the world. It has created today a very strong sense of solidarity among the developing world. And now there is a new crisis. You all know, वो यूक्रेन में जो पिछले साल से जो युद्ध जो चल रही है, उसके कारण तेल की कीमत हो या अनाज की कीमत हो या फर्टिलाइजर की हो, जो विकासशील देश जो हैं, they are all feeling today that their economies are under great pressure. Many of them have seen global demand is down, trade is disrupted, insurance rate has gone up, shipping rate has gone up. So it has affected everybody. But if you ask, saying ये मुद्दा कौन उठाता है, ग्लोबल काउंसिल में इसको कौन सामने रखता है? Answer is, till India stepped forward, actually nobody was doing it. So today, India has a great responsibility. It's the responsibility of the presidency of the G20. Now, this presidency of the G20, there have been other presidents before us, but I want to share with you, this presidency today, India is doing in a way in which it has never been done before, in 2 ways. One, at the direction of Prime Minister, in January this year, we actually consulted 125 countries. Prime Minister himself, 5 ministers, and there was a reason. प्रधानमंत्री की सोच थी कि अगर हम सबके साथ ये कंसल्टेशन के माध्यम से उनकी जो चिंता जो है, उनका हित जो G20 पिछले साल, it was very preoccupied with one issue. So how do we today put forward the interests of countries like Uganda, like other African countries, like countries in Asia and South America? So this is a very different, a very new exercise that we have done. And this is today giving us, I would say, a stature and respect in the world. A very large part of the world today feels that, yes, Narendra Modi is our Prime Minister, we all know that, but very large part of the world feels Narendra Modi is there for them. The other change, of course, is how G20 is being celebrated in India itself. G20 involves about 200 meetings, and I have been attending G20 for about 10 years now. Now, normally, G20 is done in the capital, it is done in 3 or 4 major cities. But we are doing G20 in almost 60 cities of India. We are doing it in every state and union territory. We are making it a really national enterprise so that the entire country feels that they are today they are stakeholders in the G20. So if you come today to India, from point of entry, आप एयरपोर्ट में उतरेंगे, आप जहाँ भी जाएंगे, घर जाएंगे, मेट्रो में जाएंगे, टैक्सी लेंगे, होर्डिंग देखेंगे, आपको लगेगा कि G20 की वहाँ एक उत्सव मनाया जा रहा है. That is the way today we are handling G20, and I must tell you, there is enormous enthusiasm and support in this country.